Welcome everyone to the UN Commission on the Status of Women Parallel event sponsored by Women Leading Change Now and Global Dream Makers. We are here to talk about balance and leadership, and we have 7 of our leaders around the globe joining us to share their wisdom, their nuggets of gold that can help us in the work that we are doing out in the world. So let's just jump right on in. I would like to welcome Dr. Inderpreet Kaur Baga. She is on the front lines. She is an NHS medical doctor in London and is an energy transformation coach. She has a website. It's aliveme.co.uk. I would love to hear your wisdom, Dr. Baga. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Bail, and thank you so much for inviting me. And thank you. Welcome to all of you gorgeous women out there. As you mentioned, I'm a GP, I'm an NHS GP, and in my private time, I also practice various healing techniques. Some of them to name are Theta healing, Reiki, and EFT. And what these techniques do is really help us to change our negative and subconscious beliefs to more positive and empowering beliefs. And when the energy work is done, it is done at a much deeper level, because as you know, that beliefs are nothing but thoughts that you have accumulated over a period of time. And some of these beliefs could be coming from generations back. They could be in your genetic code. Some of it could have been some of your childhood experiences that could have made you take on those beliefs. And just like now we're in COVID, so it's the fear of COVID that could actually develop a lot of fears, or actually uncover a lot of deeper fears that you may actually have from a long time ago. So we have seen that with COVID, a lot of mental health has been uncovered for even those people who have never been suffering from mental illness before. So it's quite a major shift. And all of these things, our thoughts are affecting our energy, and our energy is affecting our inner balance, and our inner balance affects how we vibrate and how we present to the world. And as leaders of the world, it's really important that we keep our energy together, that we don't have our energy scattered. We are confident, we are positive in ourselves, we are motivating, and that can only happen if we are aligned in our own energies. So as I said, that our thoughts is what's creating a lot of us. It's creating who we are, making who we are, changing who we are. Can we change this? Of course we can. We've got the power to rewire our brains. And when we rewire our brains, our thoughts change. You'd be surprised to know that our brain actually thinks 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot, isn't it? And a lot of these are actually subconscious, and you may not even know that you're thinking them. So our thoughts then send a message to our heart, which affects our emotions. And those emotions then affect our actions. So negative thoughts are obviously going to bring in more negative actions, and positive, more empowering thoughts are going to create happy feelings, and hence you will take more inspired and aligned actions. So you'll be more balanced in your energies. So how did I come into this field, being a doctor? A lot of people are very suspicious about, and so was I initially, very suspicious about how all of this works. But actually, when I went, I actually had a really big setback in life where my parents passed away suddenly. So I went and got my sessions done in India, and discovered that actually this is a very, very holistic way of treating. And since then, I have noticed a change in myself and in my clients as well, about their confidence, about relationship, about business, about leadership, and about really feeling better and good about yourself, enhancing your self-love and self-confidence. And that's where it's really helped me most as well. So the nuggets today for all you gorgeous women out there and people who are listening is, I would like you to remember 3 C's. As I said, that our thoughts can change us. We can change our thoughts if we are conscious and aware of it. So the first thing we can do is catch the thought. So for example, if you're getting a thought, oh my God, this project is really hard, I can't do it. You catch that thought, you become aware of it, that you are thinking about it. The next thing you can do is C, which is challenge it. So ask yourself the question, is it really true? Or am I just thinking about it because I've had a previous experience, or because I heard my grandparents had a similar problem, or my husband or my partner had, or my boss had a similar problem, something that you have seen, you witnessed. So you challenge it and ask yourself, is it really true? And you challenge yourself with the question, what if it is possible? Because as soon as you question your brain starts to rewire and starts to create new neuronal pathways that can recreate and actually magnify beautiful, positive things. The third thing you can do then is to change that thought. So whether you had a thought, oh my God, this project's really hard to do, I can't do it, you could challenge it by saying, what if it's possible? What if it's possible for me to do it? And you change the thought to even more empowering thought. What if I can? I am able to do it with ease. I can get all the help I need to make it easy for me. So that's how, a simple way with 3 C's, you can consciously change your brain power and empower yourself with more positive, energetic thoughts, keep your energetic balance, and be a better leader within yourself and for others. And if you'd like to get more deeper work done on a more subconscious level, do book in with me, aliveme.co.uk. This is Dr. Baga signing off. Thank you. Lovely to see you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Baga. That was perfect. That was just perfect. Just one question for you. Here we are in this tumultuous time, and people need guidance. What is the one thing you seem to be telling people more and more? One thing, just one thing.
The more and more, the basic theme for all the energy techniques and coaching therapies I do is self-belief. The main message comes that we are a part of universe and universe is a part of us. So when we are aligned to the universe, our energy is aligned to the universe. When we are aligned to the divine energy, we become divine. So there is no difference between creator and you. There's no difference between universe and you. You stop being a man, a woman, a girl, a boy. You become pure energy. And when you work from the level of pure energy, you can only give yourself 100%.
Wonderful. I know you have a meeting to go to. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time. It's incredibly generous of you to give your time and your wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and have a lovely evening.
Thank
See
you.
you
You
later.
too.
Bye.
All right. That was wonderful to start. Okay. So next we have Alexandria Neesmith. She is from Fort Lauderdale and she is a coach. Her website is alexandrianeesmith.com. Welcome, Alexandria.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me an opportunity. And Dr. Baga, thank you so much for the things that you said. I resonated so much with it and echo many of the sentiments. You said it far more eloquently than I could have. So thank you. And it's great to see everybody. Thank you so much. I am a thriver in many different ways. And so what I have done is help. What I do and what I have done for my own self is I help women take trauma and we transition to change. So rather than getting stuck on the trauma, we move through a space of acknowledging, of accepting, and leveraging that into something better for ourselves. So I'll share with you my nugget in a minute, but mostly what I like women to do is we kind of, as women, right, is whether you're a mother or you're a wife or in any capacity, whatever kind of partnership you're in, whatever your situation is, we have a vision of how people see us. We think they see us one way. We see ourselves another way. And then there's this elusiveness of how we wish the world would see us. And so we're constantly trying to perfect ourselves to get into that space of how we want the world to see us. And so what I do is I work with women to help them get into that space so that they can see themselves the way they desire to be seen. And so that can be in business, it can be in many different ways. And what I do is I take personal experience. I have a master's degree in leadership and management with people and have worked for Fortune 500 companies leading large change. And so what I do is I help women take this trauma to become something valuable. It's part of the tapestry of their life. It's part of their story. I myself am a survivor of many different things. I've a product of adoption. I survived sexual assault. I survived cancer twice. I have lost a child, and I've been a divorcee in my midlife stage. And I'm 3 years out from it. So I love to think of myself as a testimony to what can be done. And I know we've talked about the business piece of it. And there are just so many ways that women can leverage their skills, their knowledge, their power, and their experiences to really help drive them into the next stage. And as a woman who went through losing absolutely everything into building positive wealth, I like to be able to help other women get into that space. My nugget would be this: whatever you're dealing with, I would deeply encourage you to get past the base emotion. Typically, when people start working through emotions, they get stuck on mad, sad, glad. And mad, sad, glad is just kind of a basis, isn't really a deep connection. If what you're dealing with is an anger, right? So let's just say you're angry. So you take the mad and you go, I'm angry. Well, really, what are you? Because how we respond to that emotion is how we, kind of back to what Dr. Baga was saying, what we put into the universe is what we get back. And you want to be able to dig in, because there is a very big difference between feeling disappointed or disapproved or rejected and feeling hurt or feeling violated. And you want to be able to identify that emotion appropriately so that you can respond accordingly. And that would be my nugget. So those are the kind of things that I take women through. And we use a statement called the FAB, the I feel about because. Other people can't make you feel things. You feel them for a reason. What is that reason? And how do we either recreate it because it's fantastic, or how do we change it so that you don't get stuck there again? That's what I do in my coaching. You can go to my website. I offer a free 30-day transformation download. Anybody can download it and print it. It's 30 days. It has prompts on there that will help you uncover some of those emotions. I do also offer the download for the FAB statement that I feel about because. So if you need it, feel free to email me. I would love to share it with you. But that is my nugget. That is what I do, and it's what I'm extremely passionate about. So I appreciate the time to share this with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexandria. Can you make sure you put your email into the chat
Yes.
if people want to get in touch with you? I'm assuming it's Alexandria at alexandrianeesmith.com.
It's Alex, yes, because Alexandria is so long. It's such a beautiful name. But there you go. So Alex at alexandrianeesmith.com.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that nugget. Thank you. Thank you. What do you find yourself telling people a lot of right now?
Oh gosh, I think the most that I talk to people about right now is just solidarity. So whatever they're going through, right? So whether they're dealing with a loss of income or they're dealing with the loss of a loved one through this pandemic, or a limiting belief from their lifestyle, right? They can't travel, they can't go to the grocery store. It's really just finding solidarity in that you're not alone, that there are other people who are struggling, and how do we make that something? How is that making you feel? Because people are beyond tired, right? They're exhausted, they're fatigued. We've reached the stage of malaise for people. So how do we help them break through? So I find myself talking a lot about you're not alone, and how can we help make that something into the positive? Let's acknowledge how you feel, right? You have to own that. But okay, don't stay there. Let's get to the next stage. So we're spending a lot of time talking about that. And I'm talking to a lot of younger women. I'm in my mid 40s. So, and I have 2 grown children and 1 16-year-old, but I spend a lot of time talking to some younger women right now who are experiencing just hardship that they hadn't, the dual roles that they have between homeschooling and still trying to bring home an income. There's just a lot of tense, anxiety-ridden feelings about that, and feeling inferior because they don't want to homeschool their children, and telling them that that is okay. I didn't want to teach my children either. That's why they went to school. So I spend a lot of time just validating where women are feeling and trying to help them work through that.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Very generous of you. Thank you. All right. So let's move on to Minku Buttar. Oh my goodness, she is coming to us from Bangalore, India. It is in the middle of the night over there. Thank you so much for joining us, Minku. You are from Bangalore, and your website is thecircleofjoy.com. Please tell us about you, your work, and share some nuggets of wisdom with us.
Uh, Thank you so much. And a real pleasure to be here. And it doesn't feel like 1 a.m. seriously, because I feel the energy in this group. Thank you for having me here. I just want to share very briefly, where I'm coming from and where I'm going in life. I remember this one saying that's really impressed me by Abraham Maslow, and he said, we all have everything we need within us to create our fullest potentials. And I really believe that. So it means that we have all the tools to be unstoppable, to be unsinkable, as I call it. We can explore our zone of geniuses. And I think we all deserve to embrace our own brilliance. And how beautiful, even just the thought. And I would just go a step ahead and say it's even manifested for us, it's available to us, and it means we can live in a very exhilarating place of confidence, of passion, and of joy. All it takes for us is a relentless exploration of who we are as humans, our natures, and start on this beautiful, reflective, joyful journey. And that's why I'm very fascinated by the circle of joy, because that should be our natural vibration. So I just want to share that there's a lot of work to be done and there is no shortcuts. My name is Minko Butter, and I run self mastery programs to help women bring joy back in their personal lives, in their workplaces, so that they can feel fulfilled and become unstoppable at anything. So I really resonate with what Dr. Baga said and what Alexandria said. So when to create this joyful state, I integrate many modalities. I'm a pranic healer, mindfulness practitioner. I also work with Phyllis crystals, cutting the ties that bind. She came to India when she was 100 years old. So I think we are the last vestige in heritage that she's left all her cutting of ties work with. um, she always said that our traumas are from many, many lifetimes, and I don't know how many of you can relate to that, but in India we do. And so the traumas have to be cut at the subconscious level. That's what we need to do. Um, so my default questions today is, what can I give, or how can I serve this person to bring joy in fulfillment in their lives? I just want to very briefly touch on the fact that it wasn't always like this. I mean, a decade ago, I was a fashion designer. I was traveling extensively. My kids went to an international school. And all my friends would say, oh my God, she has it all. But have you ever heard that the wounds that never show on the body are the ones that are deeper and they're more hurtful than anything that bleeds? So, one thing to the other, I was very lucky. I studied under many, many masters. I have meditated in the Himalayas. And I kept saying to myself, I said, I don't know why this is happening. I have no idea. But one thing is for sure, that something greater and more huge and more amazing is waiting for me. And I think I manifested it. So before I share my golden nuggets and I pass the baton on to the next person, I just invite you right now to think about yourself. Is your life working out as you expected? Have you done everything that you're supposed to do, but you're still not feeling joyful and fulfilled? And what's stopping you from being in this natural, joyful position? I realized that our ultimate journey is to find joy in everything that we do. So I call myself the crusader of joy in sparkle. And I always say, choose joy, practice joy, know joy, live joy. It's a very profound word. So I'm going to leave you with 8 powerful nuggets. The first one is that we have to master all the 9 environments of our life. We have a physical body, we have health, energy, relationships, networks, ourselves, spiritualism. Secondly, start looking more inwards. Don't seek validations from outside because you'll never get it. And that's how I've been talking to my clients, that when you indulge in self-love, you will receive all that you need. Third, I would say, is give yourself time out. I think it's time we women, whether we are in a leadership role or a personal role, we have to stop being harsh on ourselves. The fourth one I would say is we need to understand our options. So a great way to do that is to make a pros and cons list and go through every option. Be honest, be authentic. I can't stress on this enough how important it is in these times to be authentic and embrace our vulnerabilities. Um, you are good enough. You always were. And in that moment, be in gratitude and surrender. I work a lot with inner child healing. And that is something also we need to acknowledge. And that's why we need to be gentle on ourselves, because I think we were scarred enough when we were growing. I want to finish with this. Dig deep and find your strength, because you've got this. You already have all that you need right inside you. Just go ahead and do what you need to do. You have to just have the confidence in your own ability and then be tough enough to follow through. Reach out to me if you think you want to walk alongside and want me to be an accountability partner. I have an updated website. I would love to get feedback from you. Stay curious, love unconditionally, become a universal contributor, and stay joyful. Lots of love, and thank you for this opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, Minku. Could you put those 8 things? I only caught 6, so darn.
Okay.
If you could put
I
those
was
in the
so
chat.
conscious of time. I had a timer going. I
Oh,
I authentically think I skipped 2, but I know what
oh.
it is. I can put that there.
Okay, thank you. And so I'll ask you also, just really quickly, in this time, what do you seem to be telling people, what kind of question or answer
Oh,
do you have?
something really big comes up with my clients, and that is it's time to stop being a sham. I think it is time to embrace our vulnerabilities and wear it like a clock on your arm. We just have to just present and show up and be brave, not be afraid to ask for help. And it's no longer a time for being solitary, but it's the universe is demanding collaboration to a very high collective consciousness. And I think that's the need of the day.
Yes, that is how we're going to go forward. It really
Yeah,
is how we're going to go forward. The day of the loner is gone. It is
yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So wonderful. Okay. Our next speaker is Debbie Pickus from Denver, Colorado. She's the
Oh,
chief.
Chicago.
Oh,
Chicago.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, Chicago. Debbie Pickus. All right, we'll start over. Our next speaker is Debbie Pickus from Chicago, Illinois. She's the Chief Empowerment Officer at teamfireball.com. So that's team-fireball.com. Welcome, Debbie.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is exciting. Nice to see you all here. It's afternoon here for me. So I have a question for you. Does it sometimes feel like there's a street fight happening in your head? I've got a martial arts background and a fitness background. And so a lot of things in my world are about fighting and slaying and, killing and, I mean, whatever. I used to fight competitively. So if that's the fireball and that's the fighter in me, self-defense training background and fitness background. But in spite of all of those things, I will say that I was in an abusive relationship about 8 years ago. And on a regular basis, I would hear that I was worthless. I would hear I was a failure. I would hear that I was a terrible mother because I had a serious financial disaster happen to me. of my own doing, right? Because I trusted the wrong people, because I didn't believe in myself, and ended up on the wrong end of foreclosure and bankruptcy and all those things, and thought I was a terrible mom because I couldn't keep a roof over my kids' heads. The thing is that I wasn't hearing those things from a spouse or a partner or a parent or a sibling or a boss. I was speaking those things to myself while I looked in the mirror, and I was speaking with a venom and an anger and an intensity that was very debilitating. My youngest is 25 right now, but at the time she was about 17. And one day I had an epiphany, and the epiphany was, what would she look like if I said these things to her the way I say them to myself? And she's a cute little freckle faced, woman now, but she has this thing that she does when she gets upset where her entire face crumbles, and you can see it happening as it happened. And I can picture her face if I spoke to her that way. And it broke my heart. It still gets me emotional when I tell the story. But I realized I, if I would never speak to my loved ones that way, my daughter that way, why did I think it was okay to talk to myself that way? And it wasn't. So I made a decision on that day to really be conscious of that and not to speak to myself that way anymore. That led me on a mission and a road to really understanding myself and to get better, because as I said, I was divorced. I was out of another actually abusive relationship with an alcoholic, and my life was not where I wanted it to be. I know somebody mentioned that in here today. And I thought I've got to be on a quest to understand more about myself. Ended up at a business summit where the woman running it said, it wouldn't matter if I lost all my money tomorrow. I know I could make it all back. Making money's easy. And it felt like a punch in the gut, because I suddenly realized I didn't believe that about myself. And that explains so much, because I'd made so many mistakes and I trusted so many people and so many scam artists with money that I had been left from my mom when she passed away, money that, my ex-husband and, in our divorce settlement. And I just absolutely blew it all because I didn't trust myself with money, but really I just had a poor belief around money and about myself deserving it and many other things. On this quest, I ended up finding this mindset methodology. I love what Dr. Baga was saying about it, because what's underneath all that is this self-doubt, this belief that, there's not deserving, there's unworthiness, there's, I don't know how, there's, my dad was an old-fashioned guy. He said, find a man to marry you and take care of you. Well, that made me think, well, I can't take care of myself. And so all my patterns and behaviors, which are what I teach in my workshops and things that I do with corporate and with my clients, is, understanding what's underneath. I think Dr. Baga also said, beliefs they're just decisions that we've made up. She didn't say it quite that way, but it's the same thing. Like, we make this stuff up and then we believe it's the truth, and it's not the truth. I mean, I've got a quote here about leadership, like the biggest killer to leadership is that self-doubt, that insecurity, that lack of decisiveness, that lack of confidence. So it's understanding what we're thinking and understanding what's going on under there is really important. But also what's so important is understanding what we're actually saying to ourselves, because that negative self-talk is debilitating. So I've got a talk that I do. It's from self-sabotage to self-confidence, and it's how to turn your inner critic into your biggest fan, because we can flip the switch on this dialogue. I call it the inner B word. I've got a rhyme that I say, but I won't say it on this summit. But I mean, really, we want to ditch that B word in your head, because she's the one who's holding us all back. So anyway, I work with clients, individuals, whether usually professional women or women entrepreneurs. And I also work in the corporate space. I've got workshops and trainings and programs that I do. My website, which I think you mentioned, it's under construction. I mean, it's up there, but it's not completely dialed in. But if anybody is interested in just having a no pressure conversation with me to find out if it makes sense to work together, that you can email me. I'll put my info in the comments. But we've got to slay that mental bully. And we've got to unlock the inner badass, the inner leader, the inner powerhouse, the inner whatever word, whatever thing that you want to feel for yourself. That's what has to unlock. She's in there, right? It's just this other voice is like talking her down. And, we want to knock that voice out. So yes, let's eliminate the street fight that's happening in your head, or at least be the winner of the street fight. And that's it for me. I guess one nugget. I've got a nugget unless you want to ask me something, but my nugget was, if you wouldn't say it to somebody you love, don't say it to yourself. That would be it for me.
Wow. I wish I had heard
Here
from
it is.
you. I wish I had heard from you, 20 years ago.
Well, I wish I'd heard from you 20 years ago.
Yeah, because I had that inner critic in there too, as well as emotional abuse. So it's like the double whammy.
Oh yeah. No, and we don't, a lot of times, I think we women are programmed, like, we say these things to ourselves, but we don't identify it as, this is actually an abusive relationship. Like, if you wouldn't, first of all, sometimes we will let somebody talk to us that way, but even if you wouldn't let someone talk to you that way, but you'll let yourself talk to yourself that way. If you wouldn't say it to somebody you love, but you'll talk to yourself that way, like, you have to think of, this is no different than being in a relationship with somebody else, and self-love, number one right here. So
Mhm. So during this time, what are you telling people the most? And what seems to be coming up the most with the people you're talking with?
um it's mostly that self-doubt is just, that's all made up, right? I mean, we all just we compare, we look at others and we think, oh my God, they're doing it better than I am. They think, what's wrong with me? Like, what I tell people is, there's nothing wrong with you. It doesn't matter if Sally Joe is further along than you. It doesn't matter if, Sue over here has got this or that going on. If there's something that keeps coming up in your life that you're dissatisfied with, there's just a hidden belief underneath about that. And it's changeable. It's just like the challenge and the catch, the challenge and the change. You just got to recognize it. Oh gosh, there's that voice again. I tell my clients, it's like the bad ex-boyfriend that keeps coming back and texting you, even though you've broken up with him. That voice comes back. You want to be like, no, swipe left, whatever you have to do not to hear it. And then, then you change it. You can make a new decision. You can go from I'm not good enough to I'm good enough, and then find evidence. So longer answer there, but that's what I do when I work with people. I just help them identify the belief, and then we change it.
Really, just asking, is it real? Is it real? Or
Yeah.
is it even possible? Yeah. Just
Yeah.
we torment ourselves. We torment
We
ourselves.
do. Well,
Thank you.
I think we're stuck in a place of like, this can't change. I am the way I am. This is the way it is. None of that's true. Right. So first it's recognizing that it's not true, and then go from there.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work you're doing in the world. Yes. Okay, so our next speaker is Andrea Steigler. She's coming from Budapest, Hungary. We have people from around the world joining us today. This is so beautiful. She is, her website is empressco.online, and I will put that in the chat. But welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my honor to be here, and I can absolutely resonate with all of you. And it's so amazing that we can talk about the same thing from different angles. And I'm bringing another one that I'm working with, also with trauma healing. And through the trauma healing, I'm a little bit doing a deeper work with sexual energies, and how we can release, and how we can free from the shame, the guilt, and the abuse of sexual shame, and also pain, and how we can transform it and transform it to and create with our sexual energy in a different way, because we were, as you mentioned already, that we are bringing the traumas and our inheritages from generations, and our feminine sexuality was absolutely suppressed, and we were not able to connect with our really deep source, and we are so much in our head, and we have a lot of roles, we have a lot of responsibilities, and to fulfill all of them, we are more in our head. And also as we are in a manager and leader position, a business owners, we need to take responsibility for other people, for our services as well. And we forget to connect with our body, because this is how we, from the past traumas, we forget to, or we started to disconnect from our body, and we are coming up to our head. And now there is also a big shift, besides of how we can find a balance, and the kind of like playing to, and also joyfully we can play with our roles and find a balance in our roles. And with from that we can change our perspective from a kind of like masculine and competitive, and with using the power or a power game, to a cooperational, to a flowing, to a supportive kind of work. And this is how we can absolutely shift from the masculine leadership in a feminine body to a feminine leadership in a feminine body. And what we need to reconnect with our body, and we need to come out from our head. And this is how I'm working through the trauma healing. I created this Empress Co method on a holistic way. This is what I've found to find the source of the trauma, because all we have something. And when we were frozen, when we were had this flight or fight response, and when we found that, then we can absolutely transform that suppressed energy, because our life force, sexual energy is absolutely so powerful. We're scared from that. We're scared to step into our power. And this is what I'm also teaching and supporting women, how they can step into their power, their feminine life force energy in a safe space. Because when we had the trauma, then we didn't feel safe. We were scared to be died. And that's how this mind program started to be created. This is the most, what I experienced, that when we were little girls, then we most of the time we were frozen. So that's why we cannot move, we cannot speak. So this is how, the sexual energy and also the throat chakra is connected. So if I have a suppressed energy, if my energy is down there, are frozen, then I cannot speak my truth. I'm not heard. So it's also really a big message that how we can start to release our and transform our traumatic patterns. Then we can absolutely step into our power, and then our voice are coming back, and we can speak our truth. And also this is connected with the emotions, as you already mentioned, that we in this time we are more in the negative types of emotions. And that's why we also scared from a very high level, high vibration and positive emotions, because we get used to suffer. And this is how we can, if we do this deep transformational work, then we can absolutely release these energies as well. And this is how we start to create and manifest from this energy, and it's completely different. And then this is how we can harmonize and find a balance between the head and the heart. And I have a lot of nuggets, but I would like to share just few of them. As I mentioned, the safety. So what I experienced in the trauma healing work, the most important thing to feel safe. Then as we are going through the old patterns, then with being present, and also being present, we can only in our body and not in our head. If we are in a head, we are in the past or in a future. And then we can when we can reconnect with our body, then we can be in the present moment. And with that, we can also use our breath. So our breath is always with us. And when we are having this old pattern is coming up, and I'm feeling that I'm frozen, or I just wanna run away, then I'm just kind of like slowing my motions, and also that breathing deeply, because that deep breath is kind of giving safety to the body. And also move, and the other exercise is also movement and shaking, kind of like shake out all the pain, the negative emotions, the stuckness. It's also really, really helpful. And the other thing is that sounding, this is the third one, when we can when we cannot hear our voice, or we are feeling that we are not heard, then start to use our voice with kind of like singing, or just shouting out loud our negative emotions. This also could be really, really helpful. And I have a free video series about how you can feel safety. And you can find this also on my website. This is empressco.online. So I'm really, really thankful for being here, and I hope that you can use all of these golden nuggets from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What is something that you seem to find coming up a lot with people that you're working with right now? And what do you tell them?
Yes, there are a lot of fears, and then they feel that they are not able to make the move, and they are stuck in there, and then they are going down and down, in the downward spiral. And what I'm suggesting that start to slow down, and when we are started to feel the any kind of old pattern, or the same reaction is coming, then just kind of like being stopped, taking time, or asking for time, and not shouting, or not arguing with our partner, just kind of like asking time, and then just be with ourselves, be with the feeling, be with the negative feeling, and breathe in there. And then all the feelings or emotions are there for 90 seconds if we are just giving focus there. If we are fighting, so this is the other one, that stop fighting, because we learn so much how to fight, and fight is kind of like generating more fight. So how we can step out and step into the feminine types of cooperation, and also cooperation with ourselves, and also supporting ourselves, as also Debbie just mentioned, that when we start to feel that the fight is starting, then stop it, and then to see what other solutions could be. How can I be okay with this, and accept first that, okay, now I'm fighting, and how can I do it on a different way?
Yes, yes. Just taking that moment to just pause and breathe and collect yourself. What am I feeling? Why? Yes, important work. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So next we have Judith Brigado Viato, and she's coming to our gathering here from Sydney, Australia. Judith has many different things that she does. And so I'm going to say, if you want to find Judith, you go to LinkedIn, and she's linkedin.com/in/Judith Viato, Viado. Welcome, Judith.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bylan, for inviting me here. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes. So yes, thank you for that introduction. I'll try to be quick because sometimes I get into so much detail because of the so many things I do. So yes, I am Judith Viado. I am a mother of two teenagers, 15 years old and 12 years old. I am married to my husband. We've been together for nearly 22 years now, since 1999. We believe we've gone through a 9 years long distance relationship. So we've been there and that. Um, so I am the co-founder together with my husband with our safe, toxin-free, and healthy NutriCraft cookware. Okay, and also now I am a licensed Grant Cardone 10x coach, speaker, and mentor. So because I look at actually at this session and I thought dream makers with a message. It's really all about to me is I think about what can I share to others that they can learn from me for such a short period of time. One is a a dream to make it into a reality. Our NutriCraft cookware starts from a dream, from an idea that we want to help other people. We want to help other people to prevent diseases like, potential prevention, I should say, because, it's not just from cookware, but number one thing that I always say is that it begins with our mindset. It begins with our inner peace. Others actually question why you just begin now, Judith. NutriCraft is new and all that. You know what I say to them? We cannot help others if we ourselves in our own household is not in order. So my first nugget actually is that we must first be very healthy. Okay, we must be first healthy. Healthy is not just in our body, but also healthy in our mind, in our soul, in our spirit. We have a healthy relationship with our family, with our immediate family. So I always look first at balance. Balance begins with ourself, knowing who we are, knowing our weaknesses, our strengths, knowing who the people that are there for us no matter what. So to me is that it begins with myself, knowing that I am ready to share to the world who I am, what can I do to make a change in this world. And I always have this beside me, you know, be the change be the change you wish to see in the world. And I cannot actually be a change or start a change if my household is not in order. So first I have to actually happy in the mind. I know who I am. I know my shortfalls. I know my weaknesses and my strengths. I sat down with my family when I started this business and I said, mommy will not be here all the time. There will be times that I was so busy. Is that all right with you? And I could actually, it's not that I'm surprised, but to actually my son say to me, mommy, go for the gold. My husband said, what do you have? Why do you have to quit? There's nothing for you to do. Your children are so independent now. And then but I was in also in pain, emotionally grieving, because when my mom passed away, it took me nearly, I think, more than 10 years to recover from that. Because one thing that you may not be aware of about me is that I'm the eldest of 10 siblings, and I'm from originally from the Philippines. So I migrated here in Australia looking for also, better opportunities. Yes, I have a degree in science. I have a degree in finance. I've got a master's in business administration, but I continuously educate myself. So balance is one thing. Educating ourselves is another thing. I find the right mentor that align with my values. I keep leveraging on other people's experiences. So one of the there's there's acronym that I actually use. I actually use DEAL. D stands for delegate. So in everything I do is that I delegate. I delegate to my staff. I delegate to other people. You know, I delegate anything that I always look at this. How much I'm gonna pay my cleaner to clean my house? If I pay $25 per hour and I can do more in that 1 hour, and or I can spend a quality time with my family, I hire a cleaner. So I have a cleaner. Okay. I say to my husband, why do you wash the car whole day when we can pay $25 or $45 for a deluxe car wash? So I delegate. That's one. Okay. Second thing is I eliminate noises, unnecessary things, toxic people, toxic activities. So if you notice, and you have to excuse me if you message me and that I don't see respond immediately, because even in my social media life, it's like I only follow those that also supports me. I like to work with people that it's like-minded, you know. uh, there's really, I mean, we always see these free things in everywhere, but there's really no free things in life. We have to pay our mortgage, our rent, food, you know. So we have to work with like-minded people that are brave, you know, courageous, commit, you know, go for that, you know, help one another, support each other. So, and that's actually one of my nuggets here. So I eliminate so many group notifications, but follow those ones that I can support, and I can also help. You know, we are here to support each other, make strong, you know, and you know, educate, empower, and help one another. Okay, automate. That's deal, you know, DEA. So I'm on the automate. Now you may not know I still have a full-time day job as an Oracle NetSuite ERP implementation specialist. So I'm a very system-oriented person. So how do we do this? How do we and how did we actually made NutriCraft cookware, or NutriCraft as a, you know, as a brand? Within like 8 months we become global, because that's the power of system. That's the power of eliminating unnecessary things, building our what do you call this, delegating to us is not just about giving to our staff things to do. What we do is that when we recruit our team members, we make sure that we make them a champion of their role. We enroll them into trainings, we get them educated, we get them certified, we onboard them properly, we give them a job description, we empower them, you know. So they go through that. If they are not aligned with us, then of course, you know, they don't, and we don't micromanage our staff, but rather we give them the tools, the systems to actually be the champion and be great. Okay. So that's automate. So we use systems. So we spend also a lot of time in testing them. So we learn. So our core in terms of automating is we learn and to use that, we test, we implement, we then analyze. We analyze what is working and what is not working. We repeat what is working, and then we analyze and get rid of what is not working. Okay. And leverage, which is for the L on the deal, is that we leverage on our current resources. I mean, I remember from I think from Tony Robbins, is that you don't think you cannot afford something, but think, how can I afford something? So I leverage on mentor. I follow people that has been there where I wanted to be. So if people would say to me, Judith, how can you mentor other people? I can mentor other people because I have been there. My business is a living proof that actually I can take off from startup, from very small budget with no, nearly zero marketing budget, just using a lot of organic social media and organic posting, and we have taken off. Right now, we have shipped to nearly, we're getting queries around the world. It's just like, it's just making it so busy, but we wanna grow slowly but surely and make sure that we can actually look after and support our customer. So that's the leverage. So I just want to summarize this. Health is number one. Health is wealth. Without your health, you cannot really do anything. With good health, you can do nearly, sky is just the limit. Inner peace, we have to be happy ourselves. We have to be happy with our family. Make sure that just my two children, they're academically doing so well as well. And then surround ourselves with the like-minded people. That's why I'm here, So I'm so blessed and honored to be here. Balance, we choose the balance. We have to balance our activities, the people that we deal with. There's so many courses out there, experts, gurus, and all that, name it. Leadership, you gotta be the leader that you want to be for your staff to see, your family. I've got, by the way, 15 nieces and nephews. So I am creating a legacy of a safe, healthy, smart, toxin-free. It begins at your cookware, and also to have a better world and a better next generation. I am a mom of two, so I want my children to enjoy the world we live in. When I'm not here anymore, at least they can still remember, yeah, that's right, she's the cookware queen. And commit, okay? Commit. I woke up today at 4 o'clock. Excuse me. At 4 o'clock in the morning, because I know I have to prepare for this. I don't want to miss it. Commit first. It doesn't, commit 100% in something that you think you really want to do. The rest would later on, like you're thinking, what if I fail? What if I pronounce wrongly? What if well, you know what? It doesn't matter. I commit in joining you ladies, and I'm here. So, hopefully you learned something from it. Thank you. Again, I'm Judith Viado. If you want to find out more about me, as Bailan said, you can check my LinkedIn or in my nutricraftcookware.com website. I've got my social media links there. Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for doing that about the cookware. I think it's so important. People don't really think about what they're using every single day when they're cooking their food. But okay, let's, before we go to our last speaker, I wanted to just let someone jump in because she has to leave. I wanted to bring in Elsie Sogard Johnson. She just has a real quick nugget she wants to share with us. Elsa?
I appreciate it. Thank you all, ladies. Glad to be here with you all. So there's a very great synergy between all the presenters today about leaning into ourselves and leaning into what we do. I'm an idea navigator for my clients. You have all talked about all the things that's going on in our lives, and I really lean into helping people with all those ideas that seems like a tornado inside our heads. And as Debbie was saying, as Andrea was saying, and as Dr. Baca was saying before us, is we have all these ideas, but we often stop ourselves. We often think, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, but they never come into fruition, right? We're just so scattered in everything. And we give ourselves sort of this pass that's saying, okay, it's not happening because I have too many things going on. But a lot of times it's everything that you ladies have been talking about. It's that little voice in our head that's saying, oh yeah, this is a great idea, but do you remember you can't really do this? Do you remember you don't have the support for this? Do you remember that XYZ reasons why you cannot do that? So that's my nugget today for everybody, is that when you come into this big thing and say, I really, really, really want to do this, think about, what are you telling yourself in that moment? What is that thing that you constantly tell yourself? And you have all touched on this already. I'm not good enough. These people can do it so much better than I can. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not the right weight. Like if you want to go to a pageant, I don't fit. I can't be a model because I'm plus size, or I'm this, or I'm that. If you have all these big dreams, ideas that you want to bring into the world, start looking and seeing, why do I keep telling myself this thing, the reason why I can't doing it, and then start becoming aware of what is the repeating pattern, because there's typically one thing specifically you tell yourself, whether it's I'm not worthy, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough. And once you start becoming, like you all have said, that awareness, when that starts surfacing, then you know where you can start looking and saying, where do I need to start my repair work? Where do I need to open up? Because it's like a Pandora's box. It's never just that one top thing that's coming up. But once you know where to start the journey, and then you can actually begin your journey of healing. And that's what I help my clients with. Really, first of all, let's see, where do we want to go? What's getting in our way? And what plan do we need to put in action for you to get there? Whether it's healing work, learning more, doing a lot of different things. You have to have alignment between your vision, your emotion, and your actions. So that's what I have to share with you today, ladies.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Elsa. Really appreciate you jumping on. Thank you.
Thank you for all the wisdom shared here today. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. And our last speaker is Kim Martin, Dr. Kim Martin. She comes to us from San Jose, California, and it just seems so appropriate to have her close us out because her website is reigniteherlight.com. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you so much, Bailon, for having me here today. And man, these are some phenomenal women doing some amazing work in the world. So I'm just blessed to be in the company of you ladies, and super excited I'm always excited when I have an opportunity to share and to bless lives. And so for everyone who is watching in live or maybe watching the replay, again, just know that I'm excited to be here. So as Bailon said, I am Kim Martin. I am the creator and lead strategist for a program that I created out of my own journey called Reignite Her Light. And what we do is work with mission-driven women leaders who really want to recalibrate and reposition themselves to make an impact in the world. The beauty of all that is we're all created to self-actualize, to want more. I remember a friend asking my mom one time, when is she going to slow down? And my mom replied to my friend and said, well, what, right? Why would she do that? And so I was like, yeah, I knew I got that from somewhere. So I just a bit about me is I had a long-term career in the technology industry. So I was a software engineer by education because my parents decided that I'm number one of 4 girls, and they decided to make sure we could all make our way in the world. So all of us have engineering degrees in some capacity. And so I had this amazing career and did some wonderful work. I was invited to run the Women's Initiative for a Fortune 50 company that I was working for at the time. So my work started in the US, and we just made some wonderful strides, and then that went around the world because it was a multinational corporation. But one of the things that was really a huge part of my role was to get more women to the top on the tech side and on the business side. And so from that experience and that exposure, what I learned is that high achieving women, of which at the time, I don't know if I identified myself as one or not, but I identified myself as feeling what the clients that I serve feel. And that is questioning what we're doing, saying to ourselves, there just has to be more than this, secretly experiencing burnout in a space where we're feeling lonely and isolated because we don't think anyone else will understand because we're very successful, but we're unfulfilled. And so what I discovered is that there's something more that these women wanted and didn't know if they could have it, how to get it, how to go about it. I mean, should I start now? Maybe I should just be okay and satisfied with my career, but the drive on the inside would not allow them to do that. And so what I do is work with them to get clear on what is the impact you want to make. I call it a hidden unique difference. What is that you want to do in the world? One of my favorite quotes is by Dr. George Washington Carver, and it goes like this: no man, and I always take creative liberty and add in there, or woman, has any right to come into the world and go out of it without leaving distinct and legitimate reasons for having passed through it. And so I get that. And that's the place that my clients are in. They want to make a difference. They want to be in a space where the world is better because they came through it. And sometimes that's a global movement, something local, or even something inside of their families. Like one client wanting to establish a family bank and be able to borrow amongst themselves versus going to, another lending institution. So I have the joy of helping to get clear on what that is, design what it's going to look like, and create a customized strategy to help them get there, whether it's learning new skills, building a community. It's just amazing work to do. So for me, that is my life work. And so when I what I called pro-tired from my career about almost 7 years ago. So that meant for me, I left to make room for the bigger thing that I wanted to do. I was impacting the lives of women around the world, but I knew there was more. And so I knew I could come from a different place if I wasn't representing a corporation. And so one of the things that we work on, I'll share this, is I created something called an impact ladder. And ladder works, but sometimes I think ladder means climbing. Is it hard? You got to go from rung to rung. But the reality of it is you go from stage to stage. You go from longing where you're like, can I do this? Should I do this? How do I do this? To really start looking into what is it that I want to do, digging deep and understanding your values, your likes, dislikes. And sometimes we take so many things for granted because of the conditioning that started early on in our lives, to launching, doing some things based on the results of the research that you've discovered, and then getting some results after the launch. I call the next phase loving what you're doing and enjoying the results. And then you begin to leverage that because there's more. We again want more. I always think of Oprah, right? She could have been saying, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, for the rest of her life. But she was called to something higher. And I actually happened to be in a conference, the California Women's Conference, when she was moving from the OWN network to, daytime TV to the OWN network. And literally, Oprah was afraid. And I'm not quite certain whether or not she cried, but Maria Shriver grabbed her hand because her voice was breaking up. And it was a pretty interesting, time when she was transitioning. And so you go from leveraging to what one of my girlfriends added this for me, lavishing, living this life where you're loving and lavishing, the results you're having, the difference you're making in the world. And so I am an impact strategist. I believe I was sent to this planet, this space, this time to make a difference. And I connect with women who are like-minded and who want to do that and who want to make a change. And for me, this is my life work. So I have a 5-stage process that we go through. I was an engineer, so we're going to recalibrate, moving from where we're following someone else's ideas and opinions and expectations to what is it that we really want to do. I read a stat from a hospice nurse, and you ladies might have heard this, but she did some research, and the result was that the number one regret people have on their deathbed is that they live life the way they're expected to live, not the way they wanted to live. I'm about living the way you want to live. Does that mean we're inconsiderate or insensitive to our spouses and children and families and jobs and those things? No, we just have to be creative and get around that and make it work what's best for you. So I didn't want that for myself, and I don't want that for anyone else. At that point in your life, if you're transitioning and you're in a state of regret, there's nothing you can do. And the last thing I'm going to say is that the average age of a woman in the US, the research is varied. In fact, since I started doing this, it's actually come down, which is not a good thing, ladies. It's not a good thing. But when I first started, it was 83.3 years. And we often say life is too long, too short for this, too short for that. I've heard that so many times. But in my mind, life is too long to live 83.3 years with your ladder on the wrong wall or living up to someone else's expectations. Even if you're already 60 or 70, and if you only make the average, that's still another 13.3 years. That's still a long time. So I love helping people to get on the path, not just to success, but to fulfillment. And my nugget is that I hold the belief that you can, as I say, hashtag have it all. You can be successful and you can be fulfilled. You don't have to make a choice between. The key, and I believe keys give you access, is that you have to be the one to define what it all means to you. Who are you? What do you want? Why do you want it? And we can create a plan and strategy to help you go from, wanting, wishing, longing, and to really achieving and, living the legacy that you desire to leave. So I am Kim Warren Martin, creator and lead strategist with Reignite Her Light. If you, actually, I do have a freebie. It's a small step to getting to what it is that fulfills you most, or just leapfrogging. And you can go to, it's a long one, but it's fulfillmentformulacheatsheet.com. Again, fulfillmentformulacheatsheet.com. And if you just want to talk, go to meetwithkimmartin.com. I'm always happy to spend some time helping to discover and determine and help a woman to live the way she wants to live. So thanks so much for allowing me the time to speak, Violet.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you. Thank you. And really, people have spent the last year thinking about what is the impact that they want to have in the world? What is the legacy that they want to leave behind? What do you see? What are people asking you the most now? What is the kind of advice that you're giving the most right now?
So the kind of advice I'm giving the most right now is how to go back inside and look at those things that you wanted to do when you were a child. Some people think that's unreasonable. And, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a police. I want to be this and that. And think about all those things. You look for common threads for the things that you wanted to be in, and, those positions. You want to be an astronaut? Did you want to be a scientist? Like, what are those common threads and what is unique to that? And so what can we do with that today? Like for me, I love the arts. I was convinced I was going to be singing and dancing on Broadway and acting in movies in Hollywood and walking down the red carpet. I already had my gowns picked out and everything. I knew which designer was going to, be my designer of choice. And so what I learned over time is my love for the arts, which I still do love, music, symphony, plays, I love to dance. But it had to do with freedom of expression and freedom to live life really the way I wanted to live. So we find those commonalities, those threads, and really dig deep to come out, based on experience, exposure, a whole lot of different things to get to what is the mark you want to leave in the world? So what legacy? So now how can we begin to live the legacy that you want to leave? Because if you don't live it, you're not going to leave it. So
there you go. There you go. I remember finding one time a report that I'd done. I think I was 12 years old. Yeah, sixth grade. It was sixth grade. And in sixth grade, you had to say what was important to you. What did you value? And I swear, of the many things I wrote in there, I think there was only one or two that I didn't quite agree with anymore. All of them were still very relevant. So it's true. Everybody has been saying it. Know yourself. Look back at who you are. What made you, what brought you to this space right now? And what do you bring to it? And that's the kind of work that we do over at Global Dream Makers. We start people with going through your life decade by decade, you know, what influenced you? How did you how did you come to the beliefs that you have? Because we have here we're talking about mindset to be able to create balance in your leadership. And the mindset really is informed by all of those little thoughts that we learned when we were young, and all of those role models that we watched, and we made the equations in our minds about how the world works. And so when you start to look at your life decade by decade and you see the patterns, you can see the patterns of, oh, I did that one again. Oh, I excelled at that one again, or I expanded that. So we focus on, as Kim said, we focus on those qualities. We focus on what we truly, truly desire from the heart. I think that's time. It's time now. Everybody has been looking inward and finding things they don't like. So, okay, some of us, we have to help them change that, or finding things they do like, and we have to help them support them in bringing more of that forward. Because just like we believe here at Global Dream Makers, when you're pursuing your dream, when you're creating your dream, you can only encourage others to do the same. And when you are doing your dream and they're doing their dreams, there's no place for violence. There's no place for war. We will all thrive and there will be peace. So that is what we're here doing. We're helping people understand how to create balance when you're pursuing your dream, when you are the leader in your world. How can you do that? And so we use the Dreammaker Matrix, right? It's simple and it's complex, you know, but it's very easy to understand. It essentially starts with your inspiration, your connection with spirit. You're inspired by something, and how do you bring that forward? That's where your mindset is tapped, right? Bring it forward into the mind, and when that thought process starts to plan it, you then bring it into the physical world, and in the physical world you start to have your work in the world and really play and adventure and have experiences and have relationships. So we help people to understand in those 5 areas, you go 6 areas deep. Those 6 areas deep, that's your entire life. And when you understand how everything is related to everything else in a beautiful way, it's actually a very beautiful way, then it makes all of your decisions, every single decision, as simple as breathing. As simple as breathing, because you know, will this get me closer to my dream or further? And if you're going to go further, if you're going to take a little detour, that's okay. You're just saying that you want a different experience and you're going to bring that forward. We have all had our difficulties. We have all overcome real challenges in life, in all areas of our life. And we stand here today bringing the gold that we were able to dig out from inside because of those issues, because of those challenges, because of the strength that we had to pull forward and shine, because we have to shine. There just is nothing else to do. We have to shine. That's what we are here to do, to help shine the way for other people so that they know what is possible, so that they know there is balance that can be made, that they can have harmony in their lives and all their relationships, that they can thrive, that they can be as wealthy as they want to be. And wealth comes in all kinds of forms, in all ways, always. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. I know that we have people from all around the world here live, and that we will have people live on the replay listening from all around the world. Thank you for supporting the UN Commission on the Status of Women. I thank you for Women Leading Change Now and Sanpete Financial Group and Global Dream Makers. Thank you for coming. Any other questions before I close out the recording? Any last thoughts people want to share? No? Okay. Well, I will thank everyone, and I will stop the recording, and have a wonderful day.